Hello, folks, and welcome to Subjective Thoughts. And our comic for today is A Vicious Circle, Issue 2 by Boom Studios. Now, there is violence, killing, blood, fighting, injuries, and government, technology, space-time bullshit. So if you are in any way squeamish, you have been warned. Also, spoilers. Alright, here is the team. Pretty certain it's everyone from the first issue. It's been a really long time since I read that one, so I don't exactly remember. Alright, so finally, I got to issue 2. Now, we got this in Israel, I think maybe in July. It took me a while with all my piles to get to it. But yes, I finally read issue 2. I will recap issue 1. If you want to see what happened there, I have a video. But yeah, it's been a long time. I read that one January of this year. And finally we got the second one. Took quite a while. Although there is, well, based on the art style, I can imagine that's why. Alright, so we continue with our main man, Sean, here. This one, over here. Let me get him a little closer, you see? Here. So he has ended up, presumably, in the era of the time of the dinosaurs, before man. Now, presumably, because all you see is that he's surrounded by dinosaurs. So the other man, the blonde man, whose name I even forgot in the first issue to tell you. Anyway, I'll just call him Blonde Guy. So he's after him, and Sean's doing his best to survive. Running, managed to kill a T-Rex, and eats his meat. Goes into some cave to get shelter, thinks of things, and then gets attacked by fucking giant rats. Like, holy shit, those things are as big as cats. Now, they do manage to overpower him, and he falls out of the cave and gets injured, and not to mention all the bites on his body. I'm pretty sure he might have broken his hand as well. Over here, maybe. And then he starts to say that we have some inner dialogue. They say your life flashes before your eyes before you die, from the start. And now we learn how all of this has started. Well, not that much about Sean, but we learn that he's, as we do from the first issue, kind of, that he's from the future. It doesn't say what year, but it looks like technology is very advanced, and he has this, his boss, the minister, I think he called him, he's attached to some sort of machine, he's bald. At least I think it was a he. I'm not sure if it was a he or a she. We'll go with he. Has these earrings. So yeah, it's the far future. Sean is this top agent, and he's been summoned to do another mission. This certain company, they made this sort of new death machine. And it's supposed to... They started studying something to do with matter, with antimatter, and found out something far, far worse. So Sean is sent to their building. He kills the 2 guards on top of the roof. This is quite a nice building, actually. It's got trees. And he goes down, you got all these lasers. And he tells us that he can be surgical or blunt. So he can kill, very clean, or he can beat the shit out of you. Well, he goes down, and he says it's obvious that his employers, they want this machine for themselves to control it. Because they could just easily send a missile or something, an air attack, and just destroy the whole laboratory. So he goes deeper in, but he sees that he finds dead guards. And they're not... He mentions that they haven't been dead long, so someone might already be there. So he goes in, and inside the round chamber, he sees a man, our blonde man. He said, "Am I too late?" So he kicks him. They start fighting, and the blonde guy says, "Ah, fuck it." And Shaw wants to take away the thing. It's like this round spherical object with tubes coming out of it. It was in the big chamber. So he presses some kind of button on a little thing, and then simultaneously he and Sean shoot each other in the face. And, well, they would have died if some kind of reaction hasn't started. So they get thrown into time, and they're in the, I'm not sure what century. I don't know, I want to say 16th, no, maybe, I'm not sure, maybe before the 16th century. Anyway, they're these guards, these knights of some lord or something, and they think him and Sean are spies, and they corner them. And blonde guy says, "I want trial by fight." So they throw him his weapon, his gun. Surprised I'm freaked out by the gun or the way these two are dressed, because they had these, advanced tech suits and shit. I guess maybe it just looked like weird armor. So, but before that, though, as they land there, Sean wakes up and he's like, "What? Where am I?" A blonde guy tells him that they've been unmoored. So he, right, they start the trial by combat. Blonde guy shoots the knight that's supposed to fight him, killing him, sending them again to a different time period. Now they are in Nazi Germany. Oh boy. Yeah, I think it's the based on the images, I think it's Lel Abdullah, the Knight of Crystals. Is that night where the Nazis, they burned a lot of books and destroyed a lot of Jewish shops. I think that might be that night. I'm not certain though. Now they're both there. Everyone's running, fleeing, Nazis everywhere. Now, of course, poor Sean's kind of fucked because he's black. And a Nazi spots him, and he starts yelling. And then Sean's like, "Shit!" He kicks, punches him more like, and runs. He goes into a house. It's like, he's fucked. In this case, his race is not gonna help him in this time period. He grabs a knife from the kitchen of the house he went into, goes upstairs and finds a family. He figures that if he kills someone, he'll be sent away again, but he doesn't want to kill the family. Now they help him. He has a gunshot wound. The wife, she sews it, and the father gives him a shirt to wear. He's though they lay there, he doesn't get much sleep. In the morning, Nazis come in, and Sean realizes he's gonna have to leave that family there. He can't help them. He kicks the two guards, beats them up a bit, and then is about to exit, telling himself he's stupid that he stayed the night. And he opens the door, and there's a parade, and there's Hitler. And now behind Hitler, a blonde guy comes out, goes behind Hitler and shoots him in the head. I guess blonde guy didn't like him either. Understandable. And they're once again sent to another time period. And keep in mind, they do make changes when they do this. That's why they always tell you in old stories, don't fuck with the timeline. They're now sent to some swamp. Everything's black and white in that part of the art. Sean's standing there. The blonde guy sees him and says, you're still here. Looks like he wants to kill him. But then an alligator appears. The blonde guy starts shooting the alligator. Sean's like, this is my opportunity. He jumps on blonde guy and then pushes him into the water and starts to strangle him. But as he does that, suddenly you see that his face is starting to melt off. Sean's face. And shit, starting to melt off, and like he's about to become a skeleton. And then he stops, and he's like, ah, shit, I can't kill him, and he can't kill me. Because then something's gonna happen, and I don't want to find out what that is. He grabs blonde guy, starts carrying him into this shack he finds, ties him up in there, and then he goes to look for people. And he gets into the town where he's lived in the first issue, and he asks two young boys. They ask one of them, what day is it, what year, and he finds out that it's, what was it, 14th of some January, was it? 1950, I think he said. Was it 50? Let me just make sure. I think it was 1950. Let me just be certain. Where is it? Yeah, 1950. It's September 1950. Okay. So he looks around him. He goes into that bar that he goes to in the first issue, where he bets on things and earns money. And he asks for a newspaper. He looks at it. Then he goes outside and he realizes, because he asks the bartender, "Do you know Adolf Hitler?" Now, of course, they don't know Adolf Hitler, because if I'm correct, if that was that night, then it was before Hitler rose to such prominence. Blonde guy killed him before he could achieve anything. So I'm guessing it was then 1937, probably, maybe 38. No, 37 probably sometime. And he's like, well, shit, what we did changed things, and it looks like for the better. And you see people walking around black, white, seems to be less tension, maybe. I'm not sure exactly. But yes, he's like, then he thinks, well, why should I work so hard to go back? Go back to what? Because before he goes into town, he's thinking, okay, I need to find a way to, as he walks into town, I should say, I need to think of a way to get back. It's going to be trial and error. And he's like, why should I go back? If I play this right, I might be able to stay here and even be happy. And we see snippets of him meeting his wife, and then a photo of them, and then they're in bed. And it's sad because blonde guy killed, it badly injured their son. Sean couldn't stay there. She was left alone. Yes, right. So it is. This is all his life flashing before his eyes, and then he sees his wife standing on top of him. But then she starts to get further away, and she's standing on top of it. He's like, "No, wait, don't go." But then his eyes refocus, and it's blonde guy standing above him, saying, "Well, I don't know about you, but are we done busting each other's balls? Because if we are, busting each other's nuts. Because if we are, let's save the fucking world." And that's it. That's where the issue ends. All right, first. Oops, sorry. First cover. It's the same kind of thing like the first cover. I mean, some kind of planning. You got the circle, although in the first issue it's Sean's face is here and blonde guy's somewhere here, and you see like snippets from what happened and all that. So that was the same idea. I like the first one. I like this one. I think the first one had more art on the sides too. But yeah, not bad. Really cool. As I said in the first one, I love this art style. So I'll show you the few pages. Can't show a lot because it's so new. Oh, yeah, there we go. This is the same kind of way the first issue started. You see, there's a little bit of light, then it gets bigger, it's the earth, then it gets bigger, and it's Sean's eye. But yeah. Here, too, there are several art styles, though not as many as in the first issue. But in the first issue, there was this whole montage of them going through time periods. You see, there's Sean, and there's a dinosaur, he's drinking some water, tracks. You see, he's climbing. So, yeah, amazing art style. It's by Lee Barmeo. There we go. You see? Great colors and everything. Fantastic. I imagine this probably takes a long time. I think this is probably I know it looks like it might be done on a computer. Or maybe it's done by hand, I'm not sure. There we go. So that's the art. Maybe I could show you more, but we can't. Alright. So, the plot. This is a good continuation. We got to know how old Sean. Well, okay, not that a lot of information, but we got to see who he was, how he and blonde guy ended up here. There was a bit of progress with that. A little bit of explanation on this device that he was sent to get and what it. Well, not exactly what it caused, but it looks like it connected them because they at the same time killed each other, and now they're linked. Now that that does leave, of course, a lot of questions. Can they unlink themselves? What does it mean? Who's the real bad guy in this story? Because I think I may have said that in the first issue. I'm not sure if blonde guy's, really the bad guy here. It's unclear still. And yeah, it's still unclear. What does he mean by save the world? It looks like Sean doesn't know everything. Who actually started this company and what can they do? How are they going to save the world? And what I mean is, if they resolve this, does that mean the timeline goes back to being the way it was? Because all the people they murdered, well, the blonde guy murdered, I should say more, have affected the timeline. So, and what does blonde guy mean? Does he know something that Sean doesn't? Was he sent by another company that knew more? Who was he sent by? What's going on? I mean, it's been quite murderous up till now. If he knew something, why didn't you just talk to Sean? Do you think Sean wouldn't listen to him? A lot of questions and only one more issue for them to be answered. Granted, these are long issues, but does make me wonder how this will wrap up. Will it be, an interesting wrap up or a disappointing one? I'm just thinking of when I read Clear. Although, granted, this at least follows stuff more clearly, but still. Left to be seen. I'm dying to know what blonde guy knows. What's going on here? If they do resolve this, does that mean they both die? Or will they go back to before they met and will they still kill each other? Time travel is complicated. There's all sorts of the rules and shit, and every story has its own rules for this shit. So it's left to be seen what happens here. But I'm excited to get to the third issue and see how this wraps up. But I will say this now already. I think they should have just released this in a trade as one big story, basically. And I think that just would have been better. I mean, not that nothing happens in between these, but I think he could have combined it together and it would have been much better. But again, it's more money this way. But based on how long you have to wait between issues, I think it just would have been better. Or at least I can already recommend you now just get the 3 issues and then read them together, because waiting for each one, I'm sure that these people are busy with other projects, but still. Seems to be taking a shit long time nowadays for a mini-series to come out. And again, there's a lot of art. With this art style, it's not surprising it would take him a lot longer. And 50 pages. But yeah, still. I shall see how this wraps up. I imagine the last issue might probably come out only next year. I just don't see how they're gonna release it this year. I mean, this one came out in December of 2022. It's just in Israel, we got it in January. And this released in July, no June. It said. And also, it took us also a while until we got it. So yeah, I think this might come out next year already. Next year we'll get a wrap up to the story. Well, I look forward to it. Still, regardless, I think it's better in the trade. Still, good issues. So yeah, that is it, folks. Let me know. Have you read Vicious Circle, the second issue? Have you read the first issue? What do you think so far? Do you like the story? Do you find it meh? Do you not like it? Let me know down below. I'd like to hear what you think. And if you like time travel stuff, stories with a lot of violence, I think this one is definitely for you. Though if violence is not your thing, I would recommend not going with this one because this has violence galore. Not torture wise, but you just see a lot of brain splatter. But just be warned. Alright, folks, so that is it. Now remember, collect what you're passionate about and share it on YouTube. Bye!